So, as many of us are aware by now, the YouTuber, the character that she plays, Miranda Sings, who in actuality is Coleen Ballinger, did a YouTube video entitled Hi, which has been met with just all kinds of, mm, I guess you could say, negative backlash reception. I don't have the ability to see the likes and or the dislikes because I don't have that little add-on or whatever it is, and a lot of people, did dislike it though because it's a terrible apology, and there's many other things with it. And look, it's been beaten to death at this point how terrible the apology itself was. She literally gets on a ukulele and starts singing her apology. And when I say apology, it's very, very loosely because the whole time here, she's basically, it's funny, she even calls a point to it at one point where she says, she's going to be thought of as gaslighting, manipulating, all that stuff, right? Well, that is very much what she's doing throughout this whole thing. She's very much downplaying where essentially what she did, what she's been called out for, exposed for, what have you, is so she played this character named Miranda Sings. We're going to get to that in a little bit here. But she would play this character where she would do all this like really goofy stuff. Some of it I don't necessarily have a problem with it. We'll get to it when we get to it here. But she had a very young fan base, and because of that young fan base that she cultivated, she would do this like she would make group chats and bring her very young fan base into her group chats. And the way that she explains it, even in her apology video, she explains that she was supposed to be like the creepy aunt kind of character who is basically just not the kind of person you want to be, not the kind of person, like, it doesn't really help your defense to say, oh well, I was supposed to be like the weird creepy family member kind of thing. Like, I get it if you're saying that you're the person who, like, oh, I was the one that was trying to be like hip with the kids and stuff, like very, how do you do, fellow kids. But she definitely wasn't that. There are screenshots and there are many other things. You're welcome to do the research and find the specifics of this that she had done, where she would just get her fans into really weird situations and like in these group chats and stuff. And from what I can tell, basically was like grooming them for her brother, who is apparently actually a P3DO. But in any case, her apology, everyone's made fun of it. Everyone's talked about how terrible it is and all those different things. And yes, it absolutely is. But I want to take a moment to get into some of the specifics here as to what she actually is being canceled for, if you will. So we have this little compilation that was put together by Not Another Housewife. And by the way, there are great little joke, like everyone's like parodied this to death and different things here, where we have like one of my favorite content creators. She did the whole, I don't actually know how you pronounce this, Abilene, I believe. She did the whole, like, she gets out of like all of these instruments, as you can see here. And, the joke is, of course, she's getting each instrument. She ends up getting a bop it, playing with it for a while. Oh, and then when she's finally ready,
I didn't do shit.
It's great. It's great. This is essentially what Colleen did. And it was really weird because throughout her entire video, she's basically, so she refers to her cancellation, she refers to this whole thing. She says she's taking accountability, but she refers to this as the toxic gossip train. Which, by the way, the song itself, the terrible apology, the song's a bop. I'm not gonna lie. I've had it stuck in my head for a while now. It's very catchy. But she goes on this thing where she says like, oh, it's not my fault, but then it is my fault, and I was weird and dumb, and I made some mistakes, and then like, but I didn't actually do it. It's a wild, wild experience. But like I said, people have made fun of it to hell and back. Anthony Fantano did a Here, we'll just do needle drop. Anthony Fantano did a did a review of it. Everyone has been like picking it apart and making parodies. There are there are parody TikTok parodies or compilations. There's all kind of, you know, she's really oh, she really sunk her reputation for this, or with this, I mean to say. She, of course, started with the whole, you know, she's sitting there all sad and everything. And I've talked about this before, where I've said, like, you know, if I ever did any kind of, you know, apology kind of thing in the future, if I ever had to do anything like that, I would hope that I would have enough, you know, integrity, self awareness, all that stuff to just do it like any other video. You know, I'm sitting here talking to you guys like this. I'm not going to talk down to my audience or anything like that. I'm not going to do any, you know, any crazy shit like that. And I think, you know, taking accountability and all that stuff is good and important and shows integrity. The closest I've had to do to that so far was I had made a video about the deepfake situation, the deepfake porn situation, back in December. And my essential take was that, like, you know, I don't really think it's that bad, like, whatever kind of thing, right? But when everything happened with Pokimane and all those other people who, you know, it got found out that they had all this stuff, and this streamer put it out for everybody to see. I don't know if you could actually. So, like, this is the original video. I don't know. Okay, there we go. And then I learned. I educated myself. I did a lot of like questioning other people on this kind of stuff, and ultimately I came back with this video about how I changed my mind, and I said I was wrong. But even like the video itself, you know, that's the closest that I've done to like an apology thing, because, you know, if I'm incorrect about something, about a take that I have or what have you, I do want to correct that, and you know, let you guys know that that's changed for me in whatever way. But, you know, in that instance, and I think when you do these kind of things and you want to go through, you know, how you've changed or come to a new decision or whatever, it's good to kind of go through that process, you know, acknowledge what you were wrong about or what you did that was wrong or what have you, and to then, you know, and go through your process of like, how did you change this? How did you come to a different conclusion? How did you know, change your life around? Whatever the case, whatever it might be, right? Anyway, but I do agree that we're all human. We all make mistakes. It's just that if you do make a mistake, uh, taking accountability and actually a genuine, like, I messed up, I'll do better, would actually be very beneficial. Not this insanity that Coleen. I mean, she's literally singing like everything, and like it's psychotic. And I wonder. Oh, we actually do have. This is so painfully millennial. We actually do have comments. I gotta say, brave of her for keeping the comments on. The fact that she didn't disable the comments. Give credit where it's due. So, what are the things specifically that Colleen is in trouble for? We'll say. Well, like I said, this person put together a lovely compilation, so we're gonna go through it here.
Dragging nasty people. Okay, let's go.
It's me, Miranda, and I had to take a week off from the internet because.
Okay, so just right off the bat, apologies in advance because you're gonna see this face for a while, and obviously this face is not the same as this face. The reason for that is because Miranda Sings is a character that Coleen played, and she has said that the character she plays is specifically, well, we'll get to it actually.
As you saw, I was really upset. I recently found out that there's a tiny little pee-pee inside of me. Not pee-pee like tinkle, but pee-pee like penis. I was really...
This is her announcing she's pregnant, and her whole character, as I understand it, is that like she's this very prudish woman who's never even like had sex or anything. So she did this bit that I actually think was kind of clever. The Virgin, was it the Virgin Miranda? I actually think that's kind of a clever take, because of course the whole point is that Coleen Ballinger is the real person, and Miranda Sings as the character. So you have this thing where it's like, Coleen has a husband and is pregnant and all that stuff, but Miranda doesn't have any of that. So, I think that was actually kind of a clever way to do that. But like I said, I will give credit where it's due. I'll also say that we'll get to it, I think, a little more specifically here, but I had a friend who was, this is back in high school, but I had a friend who was extremely into Miranda Sings, to the point where, like, she dressed like Miranda, she did the lipstick like Miranda, she'd walk around and she'd talk like Miranda all the time. She did that annoying voice that you're hearing. I'm not even going to imitate it for you because it's so painful. I'm not even going to, but...
Disappointed to find that out because I am the virgin Miranda. A penis inside of me just isn't gonna fly.
What she's saying.
So this is the thing where, like, some people, can look at that and say, well, Miranda's a character, Colleen's yes, but here's what she has to say about that herself.
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or, something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself, and it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I get
On a tour of my house? There are leaks all over my house right now.
Yes, all the time. There's a lot of times where in character I'll say something so cruel or, something I'm thinking but I would never actually say as myself, and it's very liberating to be able to say things that I'm thinking.
Can I get
On a tour of my
I
house?
see.
There are leaks all over my house right now. Brand new house, by the way. And every time it rains, it leaks. Just like a teenage girl's vagina. I can't believe I'm gonna say this. It leaks so much like a little girl's creases when she watches me.
So, okay, I have no issue with, like, dirty jokes, toilet humor, all that stuff. I have a very dirty mind myself. But did you have to make it a kid? Like, listen, I'm the kind of person that when I squeeze into a really tight spot, like I'm parking into a really tight parking spot. I'm the kind of person that'll say either to myself or to whoever I'm driving with. Often I'll make a crass comment like, this is tighter than a nun's pussy, or something like that. But you got to make it a child. Like, do you have to make, like, it's just odd. Like, I'm not opposed to crass humor or adult jokes in, like, children's animation or anything like that, for example. Or I should say children's, entertainment. But, like, there's a big difference between something like, say, the first Shrek movie, where they come across Farquaad's giant statue castle, and Shrek says, oh, looks like he's compensating for something. That's like an innuendo, okay? Like, I have nothing wrong with innuendos. I think that's fine, right? But actually explicitly adult humor, I don't think is appropriate for, like, children's content. And Miranda Sings' content was very much, like, her audience was children, and she knew that, and we'll get to that as we continue here. By the way, in case it's not clear, my content is not for children. It's not intended to be for children. So I hope that that's understood and everything. But yeah.
Like a little girl's creases when she's watching those strange little boys on music.
I've been
Yeah, that's just gross.
praying about it a lot and praying that God changes it back
Also, goddamn, this is a extremely uncomfortable close-up. I'm gonna back
to a
up.
girl and takes away the pee-pee. So we'll see if God provides. However, if you are under the age of 21, cannot watch this video. It is inappropriate for you because you're going to be seeing my entire naked tummy. And to those of you who are going to say that this is porn, no, it is not. It's not porn if my baby probably is wearing clothes.
She had this whole thing, for those that don't get the whole, what does that mean? Oh, this is porn. And this is one of the things that really annoyed me about my friend that did this, where, okay, so, like, she would do this thing where, like, this is like what my friend would do, for example, and this is, I imagine, the kind of thing Miranda would do. She would walk around to people like me and her other friends, and she'd walk around to us and she'd point to, like, okay, so, like, I'm wearing short sleeves, right? So she'd point and be like, oh, that's, I can't do the voice, but she'd be like, oh, that's porn, that's this. And the whole point was that, like, anything that was slightly revealing, if you will, was porn was like this. It was, it was very. I mean, when you think about it, like it's pretty slut shamey and sex negative and stuff too. But like, I don't think that bit and this concept of a character who is this like overly prudish character. I don't think that's like in and of itself a bad thing, but I don't think it's for kids. Like, she basically made content that was like, her demographic was kids, but her content was very much not for kids, if that makes sense. The thing is, though, the jokes are adult, but the delivery and everything is so juvenile, so it's like the subject matter is adult, but the delivery and everything is childish, so you end up with this weird, yeah.
So, no porn. This is the holy baby inside of this. Is growing inside of it. Now, hey guys, it's me,
God, no.
Miranda. So, I'm still on the hunt for a daddy to this baby's, and I think I found one. So, I thought the most stretchiest person I know who could teach me how to be really stretchy to get the baby out, and it's Sophie Don't See.
Okay, she's about to say.
I looked this girl up, Sophie, and at the time of this video, she was 17 years old. A minor.
See if she could be a good dad.
Honestly, okay, if you want to see the video yourself, Coleen Ballinger, Inappropriate with Children, you can find this, and I'm sure plenty of other like compilations and stuff. I don't feel comfortable showing what she's about to show because she is literally sexualizing a minor. I'll show the like beginning part of it.
Daddy to the baby, so Gina baby.
Okay, so we have this person, and they're doing this like yoga stuff apparently.
Maybe you should be
But again, person's a minor.
my legs.
Okay. I really don't feel comfortable showing this. What she's gonna do here, Miranda, she is going to, as a yoga pose, take this minor by like the ankles here and spread her legs for the camera. It's really uncomfortable to watch. I'm not going to subject you to that. We're just going to move right along to... Oh god, never mind, we did. We're moving along.
For you, James. Now, since you are my summer bae, I was curious, would you like to go on a date with me right now on stage?
I would
Okay, this is a child.
absolutely love to. I love you, like...
James! I love you too! I've never had anyone so enthusiastic. Come on. Oh, I'm still wearing my whole...
Yeah, so she would do these live shows, which a lot of YouTubers did, and I don't know. I don't... I guess it's kind of like stand-up. I don't know. Or sketch comedy.
Embarrassing, just let me slip this on.
I have loved this woman forever. I did everything I could to get to this show.
James, you're melting all my heart.
Literally everything I did. I did everything to get here. Literally, I did. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, so there's a... Oh, okay. So there's a... Okay. So there's a few things to... take into account here. It's natural for kids to have crushes on celebrities of some sort. It's perfectly fine. What is not perfectly fine is for the person who is the object of that person's affection, their attraction, whatever you want to call it, not okay for them to entertain that. So I want to give an example here. Years ago, this is toward the end of high school, I was doing a show with one of my best friends, still one of my best friends to this day. We were doing this for the kids at our church. And it was essentially, it was like a sketch comedy thing. It was essentially like like Drake and Josh or some other kind of buddy comedy thing with a religious message. To the point where the first show that we did, I was Drake and he was Josh. And, you know, I've talked before about how, like, Drake was my hero and all that, so that was, like, a big deal to me, right, to be able to play this, where I get to have my own little, like, Drake and Josh thing. Like, that's awesome. And, you know, it was, of course, there was always this, like, message about how, you know, well, if you trust in God, like, he'll get you through things and all that stuff, right? Like, you know, it was very basic, you know, stuff for kids. And one time, I had this little girl in the audience after the show, after we were done. She came up to me. She gave me this, like, little, I guess you could call it fan art. You know, it was like a little child's drawing of, you know, and, you know, I said thank you for it, took it, accepted it, you know, fine. That is where the interaction ends, and that is where it should end in that kind of thing. If you her and like other I would hear, you know, like, you know, whisperings and stuff. People would say, oh, you know, Chris is so handsome, you know, stuff like that. It's nice to hear those things, right? I've done different, like, type of waitering jobs where I have come into contact with, you know, minors and stuff. I used to do a I used to make balloon animals and give them to people. And this one person, like, as I was making them for their family, they were, like, shy about me, and they were like, oh, why are you shy? And she's like, he's handsome, you know, shit like that, which was, it's really nice to hear that, you know, especially as somebody who struggles with, like a shit ton of insecurity and stuff like I do. It's really nice to hear that. But that's it. That's where it ends. You don't, like, I didn't, and nobody should in that situation pursue that and entertain that. You take it as a compliment, and that's it. That's it. Just like anyone else that would give you any kind of compliment. You just take it as a compliment, and cool, we're done. That's it, you know? Now, if that person, because this does happen too, where little kids will try to, like, you know, talk to their crush more or what have you, right? If that kind of thing happened, you know, that is where you just kind of, you know, get to their level or whatever. You just explain to them, hey, listen, I'm just too old for you. It would never, like, you know, one day you'll find a great boy, you'll find a great guy, whatever, or a great girl in you know, Colleen's case, if she's talking to, you know, little kids, little boys, whatever, that like girls, you know, you'll find someone, but, like, it's just not going to be me. You know, it's like it's yeah, you know, I'm flattered. I appreciate it, but it you know, you'll understand when you're older. And I know kids hate being told you'll understand when you're older. I hated it. I hated being told that when I was a kid. Everybody hates being told that, but it's true. You know, like, there are certain things that when you're a kid, you just don't understand, that when you get older, you understand more. That's just how it is. So, yeah, that is how those kind of interactions, I believe, should go. What Coleen does is very much the opposite. So we see she already kissed him on the cheek, and he has a lip, you know, a mark from her, or I think so. He might have done it himself, but more than likely she did. You know, his whole thing, right, is, oh, we're going on a date. I love this woman, blah blah blah, right? And again, he's a kid. He doesn't know what any of this means. He just thinks, I don't actually know what kids think like a date is. I never had, like, a celebrity crush or anything like that.
Literally, I love you, and here's my goal.
I think I found a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
I love you too.
I know. James, I'm so excited. Okay, so we're gonna go on a date together. Whoa, sorry.
So I think, you know, in this kind of instance, something like that, like, I don't know, a high five, maybe a hug. I feel like that might be a little much, but, like, you know, a high five, just like, hey, like, you know, thanks for being a fan, like, you know, I love you too, kind of thing, right? Something like that, like, fine. But this is, it's gonna get pretty bad. And this is live. This is a live show in front of parents, even, which does bring into question here, what about the parents?
Sorry.
First, we need to talk about how we're teaching everyone to go on a date at summer camp, okay? So this is what we're teaching them. So the first thing we have to learn is where to go at summer camp, the perfect place to go.
I can just, here, this will actually help all of our sanity, hopefully.
Okay? So the best place to go where I can't go on a date is deep and dark into the woods where no one can see you or hear you. So, oh, look, we're already here. Look at that, James is already.
Yeah, so the best thing is to go deep and dark into the woods where nobody can see you. Now listen, I am willing to grant that that is meant as a, oh, this is like, it's funny because obviously being deep and dark in the woods is a scary thing, but I'm acting like it's not a big deal, like it's actually where you want to be, and like that's the joke. But you understand how this sounds, right?
Right, so we're already here. We're already here. We already did it. All right, so it's like this is like a dream to be here with you right now. Like, oh my gosh. I agree, James. It's a dream come true to be in the middle of the woods where no one can hear us. All right, James.
Yeah, it's a dream to be in the middle of the woods where no one can hear us. Again, like I get it. I can grant that it's supposed to be that, but it just doesn't sound right. And I feel like as an adult, you look at this and you just think, is this the kind of joke I should be making to a child? Probably not.
So, there are lots of bears in the woods who will eat your snacks, so you have to learn how to hide them. So I'm going to teach you to hide our snack from the bears. We have to hide it in our clothes. So for example...
By the way, terrible idea. Don't ever hide snacks. Just gonna make them...
There we go.
That must be like the best place to hide it because there's no way you can fit that in your pocket, literally.
No, literally.
There's only one thing I have fit in my pocket right now, and that's lipstick, just in case.
Just in case. James, you are killing it tonight!
Yeah, because her whole thing is like the lipstick thing. I don't know.
James is on fire! Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm hidden the snack in the perfect place, literally. And so now, watch this. We're on the date, James. It's really romantic. Oh,
I hope you appreciate me speeding this up, by the way, because otherwise I'd have to listen to her annoying character voice indefinitely more.
Clothes and personal. Oh, but I'm so hungry, James. Hold on, I got a snack. Do you want cheese ball?
Also, I'm going to take off points for the Crocs. I'm sure that's part of the character, and I guess that's why this kid is wearing Crocs as well. But I don't know. Also, just real quick on Crocs, by the way. I hated them before it was cool to hate them. When they like first came out in like 2006 or 7 or whatever, I got some at or at least that's when I first wore them. I got some because I thought it'd be like, oh, that's like an easy, comfortable shoe to wear. Crocs are not comfortable. I literally wore them for like half a day when I was a kid, and I got blisters and shit from them. I was like, this is terrible. This is awful. And then people started wearing Crocs like in general. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you people? And luckily, people are rightfully made fun of for wearing Crocs because not only do they look ugly, they're not comfortable at all. They're awful. They're bad. Anyway.
I love them. I can't believe I'm reaching in there right now.
Oh my god. This is the thing, like, the kid understands, she understands, the audience understands. Okay, even if we want to say, oh, it's not like a sexual thing, it's just like a weird, funny, goofy, you don't reach down people's pants thing. Come on, man. And you hear parents are laughing and applauding too. So again, they are kind of responsible for this. They're at least enabling this.
That was delicious. Not too much, but it was enjoyable for my mouth.
Little boy. There's a tiny little penis in there. Right when I went through puberty, and this is what I said. Personal note, my boobs are popping out and they are killing me. And I drew a picture, just in case. My diary needs to know what that looks like.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with like edgy jokes and innuendos and stuff, but like, it's not appropriate to be this explicit when your audience is kid. Like, you could say, okay, well, she didn't know her audience was children. Fair. But once she started doing the live shows and she started doing all this stuff, she should have realized, hey, my content is being viewed primarily by children, which means I need to do one of two things. I need to either reevaluate my audience and do I want to make content for the audience I already have, or do I want to gear my audience in a way that is going to be more viewable and likable by adults? So, I guess they're acting a scene out here?
Oh, how are you doing, dear sister? story.
So this is she's the kid. The kid here is playing Miranda's sister-in-law, I guess, or just sister.
Do you love this baby? I love it, girls. Oh, do you need a massage? No, it's not a food, it's a baby. Oh, I'm so pregnant. I just know it. Oh, I'm the nurse. I'm gonna take this baby out from you. Just push on your Tukey really hard.
Okay, so squeeze your Tukey really hard. Tukey is vagina. Again, you just like. I will defend innuendos. This is explicit. Even though she's saying Tukey instead of vagina or pussy, it's still like, come on, man.
Like this. Oh, you smell fertile.
Yeah, man. These aren't jokes for kids. Squeeze from your vagina to get out the baby, and oh, you smell fertile. Not a joke for kids.
It smells fertile, that's what they say. Now push!
Okay. Now we get to the bit that I'm the most familiar with her for. Like I said, my friend would point at people who they could have short sleeves, they could be wearing shorts, they could be, well, actually, now they'd probably say with how I button my shirt, I don't button up the whole way, like, you know, she'd say any type of revealing clothing is porn. Obviously, again, it's very prudish, very slut-shamey, very sex negative, all that. It's bad. But I've seen other people make this point before, and I very much agree with this. What you are doing, because what Coleen would do here is she would get people like this kid up here to dress scantily, skimpy, whatever you want to call it. Those who were dressed that way, she would bring them up on stage. She would have people dressed like her. And she'd say, like, hey, this is an okay way to dress. This is porn. This is bad. This is, you know. And what you are doing there is you are conditioning your audience and getting them used to and understanding that, hey, if I wear more revealing clothing, I'm going to get recognized more by my adult favorite content creator, even though I am a child and they probably don't really understand what's going on, because, you know, maybe it's just funny to them, maybe they don't know. But again, she knows. I know. I don't think this might be a hot take, but I don't think that kids should be dressing like this, personally. Like, maybe that's me, I don't know. I know people will debate on that kind of stuff, but I don't think that I don't think kids should be dressing like that. Yeah, that was her whole thing. She'd point to. You get the idea.
There's a mistake.
Okay. Okay, so this is another thing. I haven't watched it yet. I might, but Rachel Oates did a video going over Coleen's book. A lot of YouTubers made books. A lot of the OG YouTubers, like her, Shane Dawson, Joey Graceffa, who we're going to get into later as well, I think. A lot of these people made books. It's just like the thing to do for some reason. Whatever. Her book, I think, is like a drawing book for kids. We're gonna take off the speed thing here, and I want you to really listen to her explain this book that she made for kids.
There's a mistake, and I'm really bummed. There's a mistake on every page, but there's like truly a mistake on this page. So it teaches you how to draw a hot dog when it's supposed to look like a vagina. The 5th step is to add ketchup. And I wanted ketchup on the page, but we forgot to add it. And so, because I wanted to look like a nasty vagina with blood on it, because I'm a pervert.
Not an adult book. Not for adults, for kids. she made content for kids that had very adult themes and adult subject matter. And this person here, I'm not going to show it again, but this person here, I think, do we actually have it here? Oh, she does. Okay, she's actually going to explain in a minute here. This is a 16-year-old in a very short dress for what Coleen, Megan, whatever, sorry, not Megan, Miranda just had this girl do.
Hi, okay, my name is Becky. I'm the girl in this video, and this video has over 1 million views, and that is a lot of people who be seeing this story without hearing it from me, so I want to explain this. So I was a fan of Coleen and all the Ballinger family for a very, very long time, and I think in this video I was about 16.
Whoops, hang on, let's go back. Not there. Okay.
Hi, okay, my name is Becky. I'm the girl in this video, and this video has over 1 million views, and that is a lot of people who be seeing this story without hearing it from me, so I want to explain this. So I was a fan of Coleen and all the Ballinger family for a very, very long time, and I think in this video I was about 16. If you've never been to a Miranda show, Coleen frequently has segments where she calls people up on stage. One of those segments was the porn bit, which I'm not really going to be explaining in this video, but that's why I was kind of trying to dress skimpy so that
Yeah, I explained the porn bit, and here we have, right here.
I would be called up on stage and basically get degraded by Miranda. But I did not get called up for that. I got called up for the yoga challenge. Now, as soon as I stood up from the audience, I saw Coleen's eyes widen because she realized I was not wearing pants. But for some reason, that didn't stop her from continuing. In fact, no adult at any point stepped in this situation. So we get to the point in the yoga challenge where I am laying down and Coleen is spreading my legs basically as far as she can. She spreads them so far that you can see the spandex I was wearing under my romper, which thank God I was wearing. Now, the original video posted by Xandar, I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong, is only a screenshot, but there is a whole video of this. But that screenshot is the most important because that is the moment I will never forget, where I was laying under Coleen and she was smirking down at me while thousands of people were laughing, and I was terrified that my body wasn't covered up enough by the spandex or the romper. I basically felt naked, so it felt incredibly sexually violating. I was younger and my body was still developing and I was still becoming comfortable with myself, so for her to use my body as entertainment on stage really set my confidence back quite a lot. And not to mention, after all this, after the show, I had to walk back to my car where there was many men staring at me in a very predatory way that they were not looking at me before because of how exposed I had been on stage. So I literally did not feel safe leaving the venue. And I'm not saying this was sexual assault, although people are debating that in that comment section, but as someone who has been sexually assaulted, this situation gave me that same feeling where it feels like you need to purge and like clean out your insides, you know, just that nasty, gross feeling. There's a couple comments on Xandar's video being like, oh, she signed up for that, why is this such a big deal, blah blah blah. Coleen exploited my minor body for entertainment and money and did not protect my safety at this show. As an outsider looking into this situation, it may seem like this wasn't a big deal, but this was really pretty scary for my teenage self, and especially as someone who loved and looked up to Coleen. And I could never say anything because everybody loved her. But this is who she really is. She uses kids for her own gain. I was a minor, and again, she did not protect me. So if you're watching...
Okay. So, I'm not going to argue that what happened to her was assault or sexual exploitation. But it was absolutely humiliating and uncalled for. Even if you want to say, oh, well, it was supposed to be funny, it wasn't like a sexual thing, it was just supposed to be funny, like, I'll grant you that. I will. But it is humiliating. Kids, especially around that age, are dealing with so much insecurity and issues with their self-esteem as is. And you're going to put them through something like that? As Coleen was like 30 at the time, I'm 26. As someone who grew up going through my teen years, not really feeling like I fit in, feeling very like insecure and unsure of myself and all that. And apparently, Coleen did too, because as she said in her apology video, she was just a loser who was trying to be besties with her fans. she should have known better. I would argue that she probably did know better. Now, maybe she got lost in the moment. Maybe she just thought, oh, this will be funny, and didn't think about the repercussions of anything. But generally, when you're in a situation, this happens all the time with performers, with live performers. They'll call people from the audience, and then they'll realize either maybe they'll get on stage, or maybe they'll stand up and they'll be like, oh, you're not actually going to fit for what I need. Sorry, sit back down. Maybe I'll call back on you for something later. That's all Coleen had to do. And in fact, if she really wanted to, what she could have done, what she should have done in that situation even, was rather than having her be up for the yoga bit, be like, hey, actually sit back down. I'm going to use you for something later. Come back to her later for the porn bit, whatever you want to call it, which of course is still really gross, but I'm just saying, like, with what she was doing, you know, the lesser of two evils kind of thing here. Yeah. It's just so... Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. There's no... And again, like, there were parents, there were adults cheering, and some leering at her. It's not okay. And Coleen enabled that, allowed that to take place, encouraged it. So this is, I guess, a bachelorette thing where, again, we have a pretty... Again, not an innuendo. I will defend innuendos. I will die on that hill. These are... this is a bouquet with little dicks in them. You know, these are the kind of, like, you know, bachelorette things you'd find at, like, Spencer's or something. But, yeah. And this person on the left here, this is Lily Singh, who, of course, is known for that terrible, what was it called? Talk show that she did. And it's funny, because one friend that I knew was really into Miranda, and another friend that I knew, one of my best friends for a long time, was really into Lily Singh. She had her book, Superwoman. Again, like I said, all these people had books. It was the whole thing. It was wild, but yeah.
Open like, and like, a really fun thing to put in
Yeah. Sorry, get some Skittles. And I love putting in some tuna. Everybody likes a fishy haul. Should I leave the juice, or should it just be the meat in the hole?
That's up to what you prefer. Some people like a wet egg.
My fish juice is squirting out everywhere. Maybe something creamy in your hole. Do you mind if I eat some of the cream?
You put whatever you like, baby. You know that's the rule of us. I'm very excited about that surprise. That fish smells very strong, idea. Is that you?
Which part?
I don't know what to say about that one. It's kind of like, you know, that is more on innuendos, but it's also a little much. Just one comment would have been fine. Or no comment. I don't know. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really do think like innuendo jokes are fine. I grew up on stuff like, well, like the first Shrek movie or SpongeBob SquarePants, which has a ton of innuendos and stuff like that. And I think that that's fine, and that's, you know, I prefer that. But the outright, the explicit, crass humor, I just don't think that's okay. Not when you know your audience is children. Like, you can say when she first started and she didn't know, okay, fine. But, like, once she knows, she knows.
You put whatever you like, baby. You know that's the rule of us. I'm very excited about that surprise. That fish smells very strong, idea. Is that you?
Which part?
I'm guessing, by the way, that this is her brother, the possible P3DO.
Eat some of the cream?
You put whatever you like, baby. You know that's the rule of us. I'm very excited about that surprise. That fish smells very strong, idea. Is that you?
Which part?
Oh my god! What? It wasn't. Do you like my hair?
Tell you what to do with them big fat butts. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wait, oh my god.
You know what to do with them big fat butts. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, I don't... this one disturbs me even more. I don't know about... Like, this is... again, just know your audience. Like, this stuff is fine in and of itself. Just not for, I don't know, man. Just not for kids.
You know what to do when I'm obsessed, but
Now she's supposed to hang out from the bears.
Maybe that's something.
oh, stop it.
What is,
Now she's supposed to hang out from the bears. Okay, so now this bear right here. And the cheese ball.
more cheese ball stuff, okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. I landed on my buns. I like them extra sticky. Guys, I just think you need to be careful talking like that. What are you talking about? Well, people could get the wrong idea.
Yeah, I think innuendos like this are fine, but if this was the worst of it, I think that'd be fine.
I like them extra
But
sticky.
apart from that, like everything else that constantly I think it's just when you like add, when you see the pattern and you add it all up, it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
Guys, I just think you need to be careful talking like that. What are you talking about? Well, people could get the wrong idea.
I found the
Oh, here. This one actually has subs, so we don't have to.
That. What are you talking about? Well, people could get the wrong idea.
I found the for me. So darlings, just dive right in. I mean, Mr. and Mr. Sings. Oh, I found two bones, beautiful and sexy. You're mine. So darlings, just kiss me slow. Just look out your window. You know stalking is not a crime.
I don't know if those guys are underage. They look like they're probably adults, but what do I know? I have a baby face. That's why I have a beard.
Watching in the dark, I turned off your voice. I'm hiding under the bed, listening to your conversations. When you said you were the best, I whispered underneath my breath. I love you. Closely, you'll see that.
Oh god, okay, I can't. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, before we continue this next bit, I need you guys to understand. Some people have pregnancy fetishes. Whatever the opposite of a fetish I have, whatever the opposite of a fetish is, that's what I have, because the act of being pregnant and seeing pregnant people actively disgusts me. Like, it's kind of like there are people with foot fetishes and there are people who are absolutely averse to feet. I have that with pregnancy. I'm neutral when it comes to feet, by the way. I don't really care one or the other. But we're going to get through this bit. Good thing it's double speed. Okay.
It's bigger than the average tummy. So this is my belly button. And the thing that
I
I'm
need subtitles too. Okay, I'm just gonna...
most concerned about is that my belly button hole is completely closed up. I used to be able to stick my finger in it really far, and now the hole is closed up. It's closed up completely, so that means no lint, nothing stuck in crevice. The crevices are gone. What do we think? And it looks pretty swollen if you ask me. So I'm thinking these things want to get pregnant.
This is just gross. It's just gross. It's just gross out humor. It's like... Well, it's like the really weird gross out humor they did on SpongeBob with like the infamous toenail thing when SpongeBob's helping Squidward move his furniture. I know I'm comparing a lot of this to SpongeBob, but it's just like, that's what I grew up with as a kid and had a lot of like, you know, adult things looking back that I still think are okay and will defend. And I have to use that to compare to Coleen because it's just not okay, man. It's just not okay.
I got a lot of things when I was pregnant last time, and I was the Virgin Miranda. So if I'm pregnant, I'll take
Yeah, again, I do think that's actually kind of clever, like the Virgin Miranda. Okay.
Make me the Virgin Miranda game, make me the Virgin Miranda game. And I was just like, so pretty much causing a little bit of hater right now. So it looks like I'm gonna have to have a baby the normal way. It's me, Miranda. As some of you know, I have a really dumb baby who is loud and obnoxious and just kind of a cannibal. He likes to try to eat from me, like a freaking pervert. So obviously I don't let him eat my milk. So today I'm going to make food with my booby milk. So I'm so excited about it. First thing we're going to make is, of course, one of my favorite snacks, jello. It's bourbon butter. I'm gonna use some of my Toto milk. Oh! So we just have to make 2 cups. Give me a minute. That looks like
So, oh my god. I don't even know if that's going to be okay for YouTube. This is like a nude suit, but she's not actually nude. I'm not risking this one. Yeah, give me a minute here. I'll tell you what. If you want to watch along, I'll give you the timestamp. No, I'm not going to give you the timestamp, but we're just going to... Wow.
naked, but you're not actually naked. And this outfit looks like you're naked, but you're not actually.
Her whole... The bit here, she wears this, like, nude suit, and she like poses or whatever, and she says, "Look, now I look like an Instagram model," because again, very slut-shamey, sex negative. Oh, all women on Instagram are sluts kind of thing. You get the idea. So, okay, this is. I actually feel like kind of queasy watching this. This is bad.
You guys have the best kiss in the whole world for New Year's Eve.
Subscribe, comment, and oh, I like that. That was fun.
I'm so wet. Wow, now you can see the marks behind us. Turn back around. Oh.
That's actually a really good kiss.
I know. We're not getting naked.
And we're gonna be naked too.
What?
Okay, I literally can't, you guys. Like, I have to be done with this because I cannot watch one more second of this deranged weirdo's content.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
I had never actually gone through her content before. The way that she is so inappropriate, and knowing that she has an entire audience full of children, knowing that during this time she was being inappropriate with children in DMs and group chats, and using her fans to work for her for free, asking her fan base.
Yeah, so that was another thing too. She was apparently having like this 13-year-old girl just work for her, like edit her content or whatever it was, and then she also had someone else, or she would be in these group chats, but she called them Coleenies Weenies, these group chats of a bunch of kids, and she like vented to them about her divorce that she had. She would ask them things like, "What's your favorite position? You know, sexual position. What was your first time?" This one kid came on and he was like, "Oh, my ass looks great today," and she was like, "Pics," and what the fuck?
For nude photos, asking them what sexual positions they like, asking them about their period, and all of this inappropriate stuff. And literally her Miranda Sings content was so disgusting, and it was right in front of everybody's face. She was literally flaunting her nasty, perverted P mind.
She means P3DO.
To everybody on the internet and making millions off of it. This woman is sick, you guys, okay? And I don't want to hear anybody say, "Oh, it's just a character." She has said multiple times, just like the clip I showed you, that her Miranda character is her. She uses that character to do and say things that she has in her mind that she would never actually do as herself. So she uses Miranda Sings to be a creep on children and get rich off of it. It's so disgusting, and I cannot believe that other creators and big influencers were like supporting her and collabing with her. Like, her and Joey, like, making that video, acting like they were teaching kids how to kiss. It's just so disgusting. And I really side-eye a lot of these influencers now who are going to come out and denounce her. Like, they haven't been supporting her disgusting content this entire time, knowing that her fan base is children. It's just all so gross. And I mean, I guess better late than never. I think she's disgusting. I think she's sick in the head, and besides all that, her stuff is cringe. It's not funny. I literally was cringing. It was hard for me to get through her content. It's just horrible. And some of the stuff on her Miranda Sings account, like using her breast milk to make food, she's always like showing her body and just a lot of sexual innuendos. I don't understand why children would be watching this. I don't understand why parents would take their children to her shows. It literally baffles me how this woman got famous, how she has so many kid fans, how parents laugh at her inappropriate, nasty shit. Now listen, I'm not a prude, like I don't get offended easily. I understand dark humor. And the fact that she was flaunting her dirty mind and this inappropriate behavior towards kids to the world, and everybody just thought it was fine, and then behind the scenes she was being inappropriate with children also, just makes this whole thing disgusting and disturbing. So let me know if you guys want a part 2. I don't really think I want to go through her content again. But if you guys want a part 2 and you want to see more of her disturbing content and have a conversation about it, I will do that for you guys. So please make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Yeah. So Oh, if you want to see more detail, Jacqueline Glenn went into a lot of really good detail as well. But man, she didn't take accountability. She did horrendous things. Again, like I said, she basically made content for kids. It was like she made adult content for kids. And I don't mean adult content when I say that, and I normally, when I mean porn and sex work, I mean like her content would have had, so she says, oh, my content is PG-13. No, I wouldn't say it's PG-13. I would say it's TVMA slash R or unrated. But she made content that would essentially have that rating, but with a style and everything that was geared toward kids. So there wasn't really an appropriate audience for her content. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just really, really gross, really, really fucked up. And I mean, if she was sincere and she wanted to do this whole like, oh yeah, I really did make some mistakes, but I've changed sort of thing, she could have done that. She could have been honest. And no, she wouldn't have had like a standing ovation or anything, but in time she would have been able to rebuild her reputation, which she's made it very clear from her apology video. That's all she really cares about. So, like I said, I'm in defense of innuendos. I think those are fine, but I do think that explicit sexual or other adult themed jokes to kids and or with a large child audience, I don't really think there's an excuse for that. So I don't know, man. As always, these are my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Follow me on social media for more. Subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date. I do want to actually add one more thing. If you have a kid or we'll say access to kids, like you're a parent or a guardian or a teacher or something, be mindful of what your kids are consuming. And I don't mean that as some like, I don't mean that as some like, oh, make sure they're not seeing like harmful, gay messaging and stuff. No, I mean like, just check it out, be aware, be willing to, call it out and think like, is this appropriate? You know what I mean? And know who you're, who like, know who they have contact with. And more so, I would say, instill in your kids and just children in general that there's not really a reason adults, other than your parents should have a friendship relationship with you. Not a friendship, but like should have a close relationship with you. Like there's not a reason random strangers on the internet or anything should be able to be your friend. Like they don't really want to be your friend. I know it's tough for kids to understand that kind of stuff, but you've got to keep them away from some of these creeps. And if you are somebody who has fans, especially that are younger like this, that are trying to get in contact with you, just politely shut them down. That's really all you can do. Anyway, as I was saying, leave a like if you like, and if not, I hope you find something you do like. Later, guys. Peace and love.